Well, I think it's a really important time. I think it is a time for choosing. Ronald Reagan used to talk about a time for choosing. I think that's where we are. I think things are going in the wrong direction. We're destroying too many jobs. I'm running because I think we're making the American dream too hard for too many people. I've lived the American dream. And in a funny way, you know, having cancer and losing all your hair and, you know, you look, I've said you look like a hard-boiled egg, but you do for a period because you don't have hair, you don't have eyebrows, you don't have eyelashes, you don't have anything. But when you get through all that, I was so grateful that it gave me more determination to make the most of my time. I didn't want to relax. I wanted to get going and hopefully make a difference. In California, the government has gotten so big, entitlements have gotten so rich, taxes have gotten so high, regulations have gotten so thick that we're destroying jobs. And so we're making a bad situation so much worse. The good news is all of those things can be fixed if we send the right people to Washington. We can cut taxes, and we should. We can cut the size of government, and we should. We should cut through regulation, and we should. And we also have to cut some of these entitlements and get back to the values that made this country great. But we can take our government back. We can make it listen. We can make it work. But we have to change the people we send. And someone like Barbara Boxer, a career politician who's been there forever, she's not looking out for voters. She's looking out for herself so she gets reelected every year. Of course, women are nervous. And women, I think, you know, women mostly balance the checkbooks at home. So they see it every day. And they make the education decisions. And they make the health care choices. And so I think we're exposed to that day-to-day worry. Oh my gosh, how are we going to make it to the end of the month? I started out as a full-time receptionist. I mean, I remember that anxiety about 2 weeks into the month. Oh my gosh, am I ever going to make it? But now, when our taxes, I mean, let's face it, our taxes get higher every year, and yet the services government delivers to us get worse. One of the things that I really believe is that the values that we learn at home and practice at home should be the values we take to work and take to government. So at home, honesty matters, transparency matters, accountability matters. And I believed as a CEO that those matter in business as well. Of course, people lose confidence in business when business is dishonest. And there have been plenty of examples of dishonest business leaders. And the business community, I've said this publicly as well, the business community has to stand up and be clear on the fact that when business leaders are corrupt or unaccountable or dishonest, then we need to call them out. And we have to do the same thing when government leaders are corrupt or dishonest or unaccountable. We got to call them out as well. Because the federal government wouldn't do its job and secure the border, and it is the federal government's job to secure the border, the people of Arizona, out of frustration and fear, did what they had to do. And instead of vilifying them, which is happening and is terrible, we ought to not allow people like Barbara Boxer or President Obama to change the subject. I mean, President Obama is changing the subject. He's saying, oh, we need comprehensive immigration reform. He doesn't need a single piece of legislation to do his job, which is secure the border. And while Barbara Boxer is challenging the constitutionality of that law, what she ought to be doing is calling on the administration to do its job. Of course they've had to do that. They're afraid, they're frustrated, and the thing that really frustrates me about the whole conversation is actually Arizona is really less about immigration and more about criminality. You can't protect a nation unless you protect the border, and there are criminals streaming across the border and engaging in illegal activities that put the people of Arizona in peril. You know, I use pretty strong language. I talk about taking our government back, making it listen, making it work. But I think that is what's necessary now. 78% of Americans no longer trust their government. And that's because they see that people like Barbara Boxer, who have been representing the state of California for 28 years. Barbara Boxer doesn't listen to the people of California. Barbara Boxer doesn't go to Washington and ask the tough questions and ask Washington to work on our behalf. Barbara Boxer goes, raises our taxes, thickens our regulation, and works with special interest groups like the unions and extreme environmentalists and the pro-choice movement to get reelected. And people are tired of that. I'm tired of that. That's why I'm stepping forward. I've had enough. And these are important times. It's the 21st century. Any job can go anywhere in the 21st century. If we don't start fighting for our jobs and fighting to get our government to listen to the common sense people that it's supposed to represent, then maybe in 10 years we're not going to have that opportunity.